We are about to start texting for and with Vicky here. I don't think that we have had this one before. Wow, in all the years we're doing texting tutor. So Vicky has a date all lined up, but she's got some info about herself that she's wondering if she should tell him before the date or not. And if so, how do we do that? Okay, Vicky. So give us some details of who this guy is, where you guys met, and how it unfolded up until this point, and then the info you think that you need to give him before you go out on this date.
Sure. So his name is Chris, and we've been talking for, like a week and a half now. We met on an online dating site, an app, and the conversation has been really, really good. We're getting along great. I really like this guy, so I don't want to mess it up before we even meet. But I've been struggling with this kind of secret I have that I haven't confessed to him yet. And I'm trying to think of the best way to tell him or whether or not I even need to tell him before we go out on the date. But essentially, when I created my dating profile, I listed the job that I used to have. But unfortunately, I'm no longer at that job, and I've been unemployed for so long now that technically I'm homeless. I don't live on the street or anything like that, but I've been staying with my sister and sleeping on her couch, and it's just been a really depressing time with COVID and not being able to find work. So I don't know whether or not I need to tell him that ahead of time. It's been a while that I've been unemployed, but I'm finally starting to look for work again. And if I find another job or something, do I even need to bring up that this happened? You know what I mean? So I just can't decide what the right move is.
Well, my first thought is you're homeless, so you could use the meal. I wouldn't say anything.
That's a fact, though. That was mine, too.
Honestly, so, I don't...
This is a first.
Yeah.
I don't know why this even needs to come up. Like, he's not the government. He doesn't need your permanent address for any reason. So
I also feel like there's a difference between I'm living in an apartment homeless and I'm living in a car homeless.
Yeah.
There's a very big difference.
Yeah, you did that.
I did.
Tell the story real quick.
Well, basically, I got behind in life, and I did not want to reach out to anybody for help because I'm prideful. And so instead of asking for help, I just stayed in my car for about 3 weeks in the winter of New York City.
Damn, dude.
It was rough.
Wow. So did you feel like you needed to disclose that information to anybody?
At the time?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Were you going out on dates?
Yeah. I was still living my life normally. Like, no one knew. Honestly, most of my family didn't even know until I said it on the Bert Show, the day that I said it.
No one has to know, because then you'd get help. And if you have too much pride for that, I've lived at a Waffle House for a week. They're open 24 hours.
What?
Yeah.
You mean you got all your meals at a Waffle House?
I had all my meals, and I lived in my car and in the Waffle House.
What? Has she told this story before and I just forgot it?
Not on the air.
What are you talking about?
Like, I was out of an apartment for a while. I had to go, and then I went and lived with my boyfriend for a while. But for like a week and a half, I was just sleeping in my car, going to work at Fridays, and sleeping at Waffle House.
I'm stunned.
Why?
Because we've been working with each other for how many years and this has never come up? Damn. All right, I guess that's something to brag about.
Like she's talking about, like, is this something I need to say on the first date? I've been working here 7 years. And I just said it. It doesn't need to come out on the first date.
All right, so she's saying, I don't know. Would you even mention it?
No, it has no bearing on who you are as a person. Like, it's a part of your life right now. But would you tell the person you started dating if you lived in an apartment or a house? Like, would you feel the need to confess that? It's none of his business what your living situation is. If it doesn't affect them, they don't need to know.
My only thing is, what do you do if the person asks? Because if they don't ask, I don't think you tell. But sometimes you are on a date and someone to say, like, what's your living situation, or do you live with anyone? Then at that point, do you be honest?
Say I live with my sister.
Mm-hmm. What did you say? I live with a guy named Ford.
Chevy. My best friend.
I think I lied.
You did?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I lied.
Gosh, Vicky, I'm kind of in the same mindset here. I don't know. This might be the shorting texting tutor ever because we might not get to it if you're down. But do you think you need to disclose that info before?
No, I mean,
I don't know where the conversation could lead and what questions he might ask. Like, so what part of town do you live in or something? And you can just literally tell him what part of town your sister lives in.
Right.
And then when it comes to like, so what do you do for a living? At that case, I wouldn't be like, I'm unemployed. I'd just be like, with the pandemic, I'm sure you understand the work environments have been difficult to say the least. And I'm in between jobs right now.
You know what? Maybe it's just me, but if I ask and you're out of work and you tell me that on a first date, it has no bearing on a second date whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not working right now. I lost my job because of blank, and I've been looking for blank. Zero bearing.
I'm not going to lie. If I'm on a date and somebody is like that forthcoming and tells me, I'm going to do everything in my power to pick up the tab.
Yeah. We're not going to split this one.
I should have used that one.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Most pride went out the window. He's like, I wanted a free meal.
If you would have told me, I 100, and I would have said, by the way, can he also get something to go?
So, Davi, you say don't say anything, and we shouldn't even do a texting tutor here.
I feel like she's overthinking it. I feel like setting up a text message ahead of time is going to make it so awkward, and then the whole date is going to be talking about this. No, don't say anything.
No, Mo.
Yeah, I don't see absolutely any reason why you have to say something this early. If it comes up, it comes up. If it doesn't, no, don't say anything at all.
Cassie.
Yeah, there's such a shame and stigma around finances and living situations, and there doesn't need to be. Life is hard, and it has no bearing on who you are as a person. Keep dating him. Don't share that.
All right, now, Vicky, that said, you're a grown woman. So all of us say this is not necessary. But if you want to do it, we will help you through it. But none of us think it's necessary.
Okay. I mean, that makes me feel a little better. Yeah, I guess my concern was kind of like you guys mentioned, if he came out and asked me, like, what are you doing for work? Do I lie and start off a potential relationship on this big lie?
I don't
think
you know what? I'm
lie.
just at a different age now, so I would rather know all this stuff right off the bat. So if I had some kind of moral problem with it, or this is a situation I didn't want to be in, I would really rather know in the first date and cut my losses and move on to the next person. That said, there is nothing you have said right now that would turn me off for a second date.
And I wouldn't respond to that question with nothing. You're doing something. You're actively pursuing a job. So I would say I'm actually looking for a job, and I would explain like what you do for like what you did for a living, what you're trying to do, what you're trying to find, the job that you're trying to acquire. So then that shows initiative.
Yeah.
So I just wouldn't be like nothing.
You talk about all the things you're proficient in as if that guy's going to hire you. Like, just say all of that, but you don't have to say, I got fired.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. There is nothing more attractive than honesty and vulnerability. If you gave me that on a first date, those are points.
I've been
Especially
hesitant
if you
as
were-
a guy to say that I don't have a job at times when I didn't because of being judged, but I really do think on speaking for men don't care. Like, he's not going to care on that first date whether you have a job or not if he's into you.
All right, now question. If gender roles were reversed and a woman's on a date and she finds out the guy doesn't have a job.
Yep.
Does that change things?
Me personally, I wouldn't go on the date.
It depends on how he answers the question. If I said, what are you doing for work right now? He said, nothing. Living my best life. I'd be like, I got to get out of here. Like, so ASAP. It's not yesterday I need to leave. But if he said, well, this is what I did I was a radio producer, or I was this or that, and then pandemic, so like I'm looking for a job in those fields right now, I'd be like, cool, we will continue this date. That was a normal human answer.
It's all about confidence and game plan. Yeah, if they say they're holding out for a management position, you got to bounce. But if you're like, I'm looking for work in the finance sector or whatever, like if you have a game plan, that's cool. You know what you're doing, and that's what it's all about.
So, Mo, you live this. So for me, it's just theory that I told you guys I'm just traditional this way. We go out on a date, I'm going to insist on paying. If I don't have a job, I'm not going out on a date if I don't have the money. But you said you went out on dates even when you were homeless living in your car.
Yeah, well, I went on one date. I didn't, because I was only homeless for like 3 weeks, so it wasn't the longest of times, but I actually paid for the date, believe it or not. Because
Really?
I still felt like I should have, because I know I wasn't completely broke. I just couldn't cover my rent, because my rent was a lot. But I
Okay.
could still cover like a meal.
Gotcha. All right, Vicky, we'll let you go if we have talked you out of this.
Yeah, I mean, you guys make me feel a lot better. I thought this was going to be a lot bigger deal than it sounds like it is. So I'm a little
Just be
relieved.
chill.
Just be
Easy
honest, be
breezy.
yourself.
Now, if it's okay, can we check in with you next week and see how the date went?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
All
I might
right.
need more advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Eat, like order everything, all the things.
All of it.
Lobster.
12 doggy bags.
Get enough for 2 weeks.
Be like, by the way, this is what my sister wants. This is what my sister's husband wants, and this is what her kid wants.
I need a go pasta.
Yeah, bring like freezer bags and stuff on the day.
That's a red flag.
All right, Vicky, we'll let you go.
Thank you guys so much.
All right, bye-bye.
We haven't done that in a while.
I know, right?
I
What,
don't
told
think
them
I've
no?
ever been
Yeah.
here when you've done that.
The Bert Show.